Local 1700, Local 1700. We call this emergency break or emergency break in the podcast. Some things I wanted to discuss with our membership real quick. Things happen kind of fast in this world, in this game, and I want to update you guys on what's going on. Obviously, we've been following social media. I'm pretty sure the plant knows about the upcoming strike authorization vote, which is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., along with the delegates. So please still come out and vote for the delegates. But there's been a whole lot of discussion since this all kicked off. Media has garnered some media attention. A lot of reporters call, they report the news. A lot of stuff that we do, anytime we make decisions to move, the UAW is a powerful organization, so it does affect Wall Street in one way or another. But it pushed the company into a situation where they sat down and had a whole lot of conversation, a whole lot of back and forth meetings with myself and Brother Mike Hudson, Skilled Trades Committee man. And I would like to announce today that as far as the strike authorization vote, the company has come to us, and we have had multiple discussions, and we have come up to a resolution to resolve those grievances in which we were going to initially take the strike authorization vote. With that being said, first thing, and I don't have my hat on today, but I want to tip my hat to our membership, because without our membership and the pressure because they monitor social media. I always tell you guys they monitor social media. They monitor the news. They monitor Wall Street. Without the pressure for our membership talking about this, getting actively involved, expressing their views on supporting this strike authorization vote, it put the pressure on the company to actually come have some conversation, some fruitful conversation with myself and Brother Mike Hudson. We actually had a meeting this morning at 10:30, had one yesterday, and it's been constant going back and forth in debate, discussion on how to get a resolution on it. So a deal has been inked. And I want to first thank our membership for that support. We continue to look for that support. This is how we change the tide on how we move forward, by showing the company that we have support of our membership. And we can move mountains. So I want you to keep this energy and this vigor. I want the conversation to continue within the plant, not just on this one issue, but on all the issues that we recognize that may be, as I said before, strikeable or non-strikeable. We know the 2028 contract is going to bring its own set of issues, but internationally and locally, we are going to need the same energy you guys displayed today. We're going to need it going forward. So this is the time to get incentivized and to get involved. You do see to my right, Brother Vice President Rich Boyer. Thanks for coming down, Rich. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, yo.
I do want to make it very, very clear to the membership that this was not an international issue as of yet. And when I say as of yet, as of right now, as of yesterday, 2 days ago, it was not an international issue. It only becomes an international issue if the strike authorization vote had actually taken place, and then we would have to send it up to international to say, hey, take it to the IE board and vote on that to give us the full authorization to move forward with a strike. But he's sitting here because not only Brother Rich Boyer is our vice president, but he is a friend and a person that I talk to on a regular, daily basis. And I do reach out to him for advice. I challenge him on a whole lot of stuff, and we kind of go back and forth. And it's good to be able to have someone that can actually reach out to and say, hey, what's your thoughts? Well, here's my thoughts. How do we strategize to make sure that our local, for sure, not only our local, but the union as a whole, be in a better position tomorrow than we are today. So I want to thank you for that first thing.
You're welcome, Mike.
Yeah. So I did bring him on for that reason, because he was instrumental in advising us, talking to us, having an open ear, answering the phone every time I call. He just so happened to be here today, and I know he'll be down here hanging out with us tomorrow, encouraging the delegates and supporting the delegates and the retirees. Brother Mike Hudson, Skilled Trades.
Yes, Chris.
Big issue. I took my hat to the grievances and the work you guys did. Now we got to do what? We got to own the work.
We got to own the work. I want to thank you, President Spencer. Thank you, Vice President Rich Boyer. Also like to thank Vice President Eric Waters. This local stood behind us in all this fight to take our house back, and we're coming to a resolution. I want to also thank every member, all of our brothers and sisters of Local 1700 for showing unity. I think it speaks volumes how we came together, and numbers are power. Numbers are power. We're a very powerful and united local, and it spoke volumes. I have some different talks with my tradesmen on a different platform. We are moving forward with the support of not only international and our local, and we're going to take our house back at Shap and start doing this work.
Well,
If I may.
Go ahead.
Let me say this to y'all. You know, first of all, I want to thank Local 1700 for standing up as a whole, as a unit, and sending a message to the company. You know, we are in these plants day and night. We produce the product. We make sure these companies are making money. So when we talk, they need to listen. When you go into a plant, they need to respect the membership. They need to respect the leadership. They need to understand that we are like this, and you're not going to break this. You can try all you want, but you're not going to break it. And we don't like to get into these positions, but don't back us into a corner. Because once you back us into a corner, we're coming out like this. So to your membership here, Brother Spencer, Brother Mike, hats off to him. I'll tip the hat to y'all. I'll tip the hat to y'all because, you know, at the end of the day, all we have is each other. You can get on social media and talk about each other. You can get on social media and say all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, we're a family. That's my position.
Well, what you're saying that we are a family. You're absolutely right. And I'm just going to be in full transparency. You know, we understood some of the challenges that we had in front of us, Mike. I know, man, you've been talking since you got elected on how to bridge the gap between production and skilled trades. And that division is still there, okay? It's still there.
It's still lingering.
Yeah, it's still lingering. I do want to tell production operators and skilled trades, first thing, production, thank you for supporting this cause, because this cause can be your fight one day, and I'm pretty sure it will be in the next 3 years, you know. But on top of that, you know, I took a lot of phone calls, right? And asking, hey, not only explain what's going on, but explain to me why are we supporting this part of the family and not that part. At the end of the day, we are all family. We may not agree with everything, but one thing we can't let the company see is that there's division amongst us. And when we start seeing the chatter on social media, and the company literally told me, we saw your podcast, we saw what was reported in the news report, we see what's being stated and talked about on social media. That's what changed the tide on how they approached us after that to have these conversations with us, right? And it was because at some point there was united between skilled trades and production. What I am asking the membership going forward is we continue to build on that momentum. Like I said, once again, we can disagree on certain things. Skilled trades, we can most definitely disagree on certain things. But when it comes to the fight, we got to unite. We got to unite. Because your issue today may be somebody's issues tomorrow. Even though you may not have the issue today, it could be your issue tomorrow. And if we continue standing strong together, we can overcome a lot of issues, a whole lot of issues. And we got more issues in the plant to address. Like I told you earlier in the other podcast, this is one of the issues that we saw that we had real good teeth in, where we felt like we can hold the company accountable. And to be honest, they first told us go kick rocks. But due to you guys' actions, we were able to turn the tide. We was able to make them come back to the table. They called us, and we had a lot of conversations. And these decisions are not taken lightly at all.
No.
I mean, you know, when I say a lot of conversations, they call international, hey, get them under control. And what international said, and I appreciate this very much, Brother Rich, is, hey, that's a local issue. You guys need to work that out at the local level. Yes, we are going to support them every step of the way, but you guys need to figure that out. And I appreciate that because that empowers us as a local to handle our issues in-house, right? So I appreciate that coming from your side of the house.
One thing you're going to find out is that we're never going to get into the local unions business. Our job is simply to support the local unions by any means necessary. And that's what I've told all my services reps. That's what I tell my folks. Because at the end of the day, they don't need us if we don't have members.
Right.
We have to support our members.
Right.
One thing I'd say to the trades guys, now guys, I've been a tradesman since 1992. And I've been on the floor as a millwright. Even as a skilled trades committeeman, I had put my blues back on to go, because like Brother Mike is saying here, we bid a lot of work at Warren Truck, and then as the process started going, the guys decided they didn't want to do the work. The worst thing you can do is bid work and not finish it and complete it, because you lose credibility. And then it makes it harder for this guy to go get more work for you. You can't do that. So when you bite off something, I suggest that you sit down together, you talk, you make sure that you want to do the work, and then you got to do it. You just got to do it. That's just the way it works. And the other thing I'll say as a tradesman, I know this is probably going to be very unpopular, but a tradesman's job is to support the production worker, man, to make his life or her life better. I mean, if it's hanging a fan, okay, you're going to get them to sweat a little bit. So what? That person is standing on that line all day, 8 hours, 10 hours a day. Your job is
sometimes 12.
Yeah, 12. Yeah. So the point I'm making is that whether you like it or not, without the production people, they don't need us tradesmen. We have to make sure that you support, and it goes back to being a family. When you're a family, you might beat up on your little brother, but nobody else better touch your little brother, right?
Yeah,
isn't that the way it's supposed to be, right? And that's the way we're supposed to be as a family.
Well, I will
appreciate
say
you
this.
bringing me down, though.
Oh, I appreciate you coming down. I know you'll be down tomorrow once again to hang out with the delegates, so it's very important. You know, the strike authorization took precedent. You know, it became the biggest issue that was talked about. But the delegates itself is super important for this constitutional convention coming up. So please still come down, support those delegates because they need your support. We need to make sure we get some people on the floor down there, downtown, to represent not just us as a local, but us as a union as a whole. But when you went back to trades and you did say something, and Mike, you also said something too, I'm just going to be honest. The company is betting against you right now.
Yes.
You know, some of the conversations I've had, you and had, some of the meetings, these recent meetings that came out of this, is okay, we concede, but we think they're going to fail. We think they're not going to be able to do the project work. This work that you guys are arguing about, hey, you didn't get a chance to bid on, they're not going to be able to do that. And we're going to be right back to where we're at now, which is outsourcing contractors. And I'll tell you, I'm betting on my skilled trades. I'm betting on Local 1700 that we can do the work. We will do the work, and we'll do it better, faster, quicker, and cheaper than anybody else is out there. And I'm counting on you trades to prove them wrong. Because if we don't win that battle, this battle will come up and the narrative will be a lot different in the next couple of years. So guys, please take this serious because it was a lot. It was a lot to get us where we at now.
It was a big fight. It's been an ongoing fight, and it's come to this point, and they're going to follow the contract. And there's a lot to it that's going on with the resolution, and that's some conversations, like I said, I'm going to have with my trades. And we do have to step up and we have to show out because the company is counting on us to fail and they expect us to fail. Yeah. But I'll keep on going in there. Like you hit them with some stuff they didn't realize today in the meeting, and we'll keep on. But I definitely am going to call on all the trades to. We got to come to work and do our work and show them.
Yeah. I do want to say one more thing. We're going to close this out. We ain't going to make this a long podcast because this is breaking news. And I just want to make sure everybody understood where we are at and which direction we're moving in. That we did come up with an agreement with the company. That agreement, we already, we still talking about some of the details, but the framework was there. But with that being said, I want to tell our production people, those who did come out and support, and even those who didn't support, I'll say ultimately at the end of the day, this was an issue that was driven by the skilled trades grievances, right? So I appreciate that from your stewards and from the skilled trades. I ask personally that production support this because we are one local, we are one union. So in these conversations, I did go back and have some side conversations in the same room about some things that are affecting production. And no, I don't want a freaking pizza party. What I want to do is change the culture in the plant. And part of changing our culture is, we got some issues with the cafeterias. I know they made a big announcement when you came to the plant about doing the cafeterias, but we had some discussions about the greenhouse medical cafeteria that I'm expecting to see some major changes back there. I want to leave it there. Some major changes back there. And I'm not talking about a cafeteria. I'm talking about a different concept back there. But expecting that. I'm also expecting, we have gym equipment. We have 2 gyms right now. Yeah. And from my understanding, the equipment is not working the way it should be. And I know people say, they should have been did that. I agree. But everything we get, we got to fight and bargain for it. Yes. We bargained and got the gyms. We didn't argue and bargain that they maintain the gyms in the way that we feel like it should be maintained. So some things there. And I know they're not big things. I know they're not. But this is just my way of saying, hey, you know what? I appreciate what you guys did. But the other part and the last part is the respect on the floor. We continue to wear the shirts to say management is not your friend. I always say it's not derogatory. It's the fact. They're your supervisor. I don't like the word boss. I hate that word. But they are your supervisor who direct the workforce. And we have to keep them in that part of the relationship to understand our role, understand their role. And one of the conversations I had with the plant manager is, hey, we got to change the culture, and the culture don't start with our folks on the floor. It starts with your management team and having a respectful, professional conversation with the people on the floor. There's too many situations and grievances, and there comes up suspensions and terminations based off of the communication that's being done on the floor, because we get this buddy-buddy relationship, and then when you give me this energy, I match your energy, and now I'm up in HR. I'm not by no means telling us to match the energy in a negative way, because you end up in HR. But I am telling the company, the plant manager, all the way up as far as I can go, including to Rich, we have had this conversation. We have to change that culture, because the culture has to be based off of respect and based off of contractual lines and based off of chain of command, utilizing your union steward, committee man, shop chair, vice president, president to fight those battles, because they are your negotiating and bargaining agent. But at the end of the day, this podcast is say, hey, I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart.
I got to say one more thing before I go. I'm sitting here listening to you.
Yeah.
One thing I want you guys to know is your president was like a bulldog to them people. He would not back off 1 minute. And when it hit the press and they called me, the first thing I said to them is, you got to go back to them. That's their thing. And whatever you want to do, I'm going to support you.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I told you. But he would not back off. Your whole bargaining committee would not back off. So it took, I don't know, 3-4 days before they finally figured out that everybody was serious over here. And there's an old saying, sometimes a hard head makes for a soft behind. Well, I think you kicked them in the behind quite a few times over the last couple of days.
Even they said you kicked our ass this time. They said that, but that's something to worry about, because they admitted, conceded defeat.
They did.
That don't mean they don't put a check mark in the box for us and not say, hey, we want the next check mark, right? So we got to make sure that we protect ourselves going forward. And that means we got to be stronger. We got to be smarter. We got to be quicker, faster, more organized. And I did see some stuff on social media that bothered me last night. There was a lot of members saying, well, what is this really all about, right? I encourage you to come down to the union meetings, get involved in our standing committees, get fully involved. You're paying dues. You might as well figure out what the hell is going on. Get fully involved in what's going on so you understand what the fight is, why the fight is there, and how do it benefit you. And hell, you can even shape the fight. We're always looking for people to help us shape this fight, because at the end of the day, the union is only as strong as its people, right?
Well, some of them young people are going to have to take these spots.
Absolutely.
We ain't going to be here forever.
Yeah.
So they got to take these spots.
You asked me today, hey, what do your leaders look like? I mean, what do your future leaders look like? You asked me that today. Yeah. So
I said, who are you training?
Yeah.
What does your future look like? Because we're going to go.
Yeah,
we're not going to be here forever.
Yeah. How many years you got, Rich?
42.
42. And you always say, I'll go back to my tools if I have to.
I would go back to my tools if I have to.
Yeah.
Listen, at the end of the day, I'm nothing more than a factory worker, man, who was blessed by God to be able to speak on behalf of people. That's all. That's it.
I always tell people, we just puppets in the game, because ultimately we the mouthpiece for the people, but they control the strings.
Yep.
And in order to control the strings, you have to be actively involved.
You should never take one of these jobs getting upset in the event you lose an election, because the jobs belong to the people, not to us.
Yeah, temporary placeholders.
That's all we are.
All right, Mike, before we close it out, man, you got anything, man? Because I know you are the new skilled trades committee man.
Yes.
When I say new, I know it's been a year almost now. And day one, you walked in and told them, we're going to file the contract. Here we are today. You enforced that. You pushed that. I'm glad you guys did your job. When I say your job, as a committee man and as stewards, you guys laid the foundation, the groundwork, the administrative part, and bring it up to me and the vice president. We review it. We fight it. But you guys, everything in order. So, hey, good job as the new committee man.
Thank you, President.
Uncharted waters for us.
We're going to continue we're going to put their feet to the fire, and we're going to follow that contract.
Okay.
And I'd like to thank my fellow committee, Big Sauce, Jabron, Jamil, Big Chuck, Ricky Odom. We, as a committee, are united. Yeah. I would also like to thank the production stewards as well. They were out on the floor speaking with the production side of it, and it was a collaborated effort between the whole local and the leadership, and way to go. Hats off to all you guys.
All right. With that being said, hey, this is breaking news. We are going to send this podcast out to every member, probably 2 or 3 times today, because, I don't want anybody per se to say, hey, I was just coming down to vote for one thing and not the other, and I didn't know what was going on. We will do some, I'll give it Media Merv, that's my guy, Media Merv, to do some animation out there, to let guys know what's going on. But we did want to report where we were, where we are at, please, I'm begging you, still come down here and vote. I'm looking for record numbers with the delegates. And it's kind of a friendly competition for me. You know, other locals are reporting out, right? Hey, let's up the game on that and make sure that our numbers is not only at their level but better than levels to show that we're fully engaged in this process. With that, I am gonna close it out. You got anything else you want to say, Rich, before we close it out?
The importance of the delegates is that you put together the Constitution, which is the governing body and the rules of the union. So when people don't actively vote for the Constitution or for the delegates to the Constitution, they're saying, in my mind, that you don't care how the unions run. So many times you see on social media that the union's not run right this way, this guy don't do that guy don't do this. This is your chance to voice your opinion on how it's structured. So it's very important to come out and vote for the delegates. That's what I would say, Prez.
All right. You take that. You heard it from the man. You heard it from the man. And I support everything that he say. With that being said, as always, deuces.